report just came out, very interesting, about free agency because the Detroit Lions tried to make a move before the NFL trade deadline last season. We're going to get into it right now. Before we jump into this content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we get, the better that this bad boy continues to grow, folks. There's a player I've been talking about all offseason, everybody knows, and I really didn't want to talk about him because I have so much, but this report came out, and it's pretty significant, and this may give you an idea what the Detroit Lions are going to do potentially here in free agency. Heavy.com is reporting that the Vikings and Detroit Lions, before the NFL trade deadline this past season, was talking about Danielle Hunter to the Detroit Lions in a trade. Vikings poised to lose $65 million star after declining trade with rival. And the Detroit Lions were trying to get Danielle Hunter. One of the teams that did give Minnesota a call were their division rival Detroit Lions. Those two teams did do a trade previously with T.J. Hockenson. They didn't do it this time, but I keep an eye on them as well. Talking about Danielle Hunter in free agency. 16.5 sacks, 29 years old. 3-year deal, $65 million. The Vikings are still sorting out their quarterback situation. It puts talks on Hunter on hold, according to ESPN, until they know what their cap sheet will look like pending the decision on Cousins. According to The Athletic, Vikings will receive a 2025 third-round comp pick if Hunter lands with a new team in free agency. Hunter has remained as a target around the NFL since 2023 when the Vikings received trade offers for signing him to a revised one-year, $20 million contract. He actually went up there to the front office, told, please don't trade me. I want to stay here for the rest of the year. And this talks about how the Detroit Lions were trying to trade for Danielle Hunter. And why is this important right now? You say it's already passed. Well, because now Danielle Hunter is a free agent. The Detroit Lions wouldn't have to trade for him. If they were looking to trade for him, like I said they were before the trade deadline, one of the main targets, they're probably looking at him in free agency as well. The Lions could get a player like him. This defensive line can take that next step. Imagine right now, Aiden Hutchinson, Danielle Hunter, and say they go like Byron Murphy in the draft. Something like that. Defensive tackle. Whew. Whew. This defensive line could go from maybe a weak spot of this football team to a strength. And there's plenty of DTs in this year's draft. You don't have to get in. There's plenty. You can get them in the first, second, and third round. This is a great draft for interior. If they were to get an edge rusher in free agency like Hunter, then you can use your draft picks. Maybe you want to get you do a second-round pick, right? And you know what? We're going to trade for L'Jarius Sneed or something like that. You can do that. Or you're just going to make one move. Okay. You get a Hunter, then you go into the draft and you get a corner, get a guard, get a DT, some depth players. That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good. The reason I'm so hype on the idea of the Detroit Lions getting another pass rusher for this team is it's going to do twofold. First, the pass rusher, the one that we acquire, is going to be able to sack the quarterback, but it opens it up for Aiden Hutchinson. You can no longer double-team this guy all the time. You can't double-team everyone, Lee McNeil. You won't be able to double-team everybody, so somebody will get open. And that will do dividends for the linebackers and most importantly, the secondary, the corners where we have struggled. It is a domino effect. That's why you got to have a very good defensive line. And that's why we talk about the trenches all the time, right? I mean, the reason our offense was so good is our offensive line was dominant. So if our defensive line can be dominant like our offensive line, good luck. Going to be quite difficult for teams to want to deal with that. So this is a big rumor. This is huge, man, because it has been really quiet in free agency for the Detroit Lions. Like, you're hearing rumors about every other team, except for the Lions because they're so tight-nipped. And that's what this regime does. They're completely tight-nipped. But this is significant because if they wanted to get him then, they probably still want to get him right now. They knew they needed help in that edge position. That's a big deal. There's plenty of other pass rushers as well if they don't go for him or if he goes to Chicago or another team. There's a ton of pass rushers in free agency. There's not 1-2 Hunters, 16.5 sacks because Josh Allen was franchised. We all knew that was going to happen. But he's a good one, and there's great ones as well. Jadeveon Clowney, he's a situational guy. Greenard from Houston Texans, I would love him. That'd be a big... See, the reason I don't think that we get him is because he's going to cost more because he's so young. But look, if you can get Greenard, I'd take him over Hunter. If you could actually get a good deal with him because he is younger and he could be on this team for many years. Interesting to see. And this also shows, too, this case is here, talks about, the Vikings and a little bit, we can say about other teams like the Kansas City Chiefs is when you're fiscally irresponsible or you have a lot of good players, you lose them. That's why we don't go berserk in free agency because we got to pay our own guys. You're seeing teams like the Vikings losing their own guys, right? Vikings are going to lose Hunter, probably Kirk Cousins. Who knows what they're going to do over there with the roster? You're seeing that with the Kansas City Chiefs. They have to lose players because they can't pay everybody because of Patrick Mahomes. So it's really important to do good contracts, and you're seeing the reason why. Now, at the moment, we want to win in March, but we also got to be smart fiscally and not be irresponsible. Because if you're irresponsible, we are going to end up like a Trey Flowers. We are going to end up making dumb decisions, and that's the last thing that we want for this football team because we are close. We are, I'd say, 2 players away from legitimately being, really, really good. Like, to make it to a Super Bowl. So, if they get a corner and an edge, like that, the defense will automatically be better. And that's just 2 picks or 2 players from free agency of the draft. You have plenty more picks. So, and look, the Vikings aren't necessarily losing everything. They'll probably get a compensatory 3rd-round draft pick, and then maybe that's why they kept him anyways. They're like, screw it. Want to keep, you're going to get a draft pick anyways. Because they will when he gets paid. Anytime you get big, gigantic contracts, they're going to go ahead and do that. But that's really good. It's really good for the Lions. It looks like the deck's clearing here for the new Lions uniforms. We're waiting on that right now. Getting the new uniforms. It should be happening in April here. So I know a lot of people's asking about it. They're saying it's going to happen in April sometime. I'm really curious to see what type of alternate they go. Will be black ones? Will they go to the old blue, the Barry Sanders blue and the Herman Moore blue? That blue. Will they completely change it up? They did that with the helmet, and the helmet was fire last year. The helmet was fire. So maybe they do. I would love to see that type of color blue too. So that's going to be exciting to see the alternate unis for the Lions. And that's what it's all about, is being cool. Being cool. Again, this is the same rumors. Nothing changed here. The Detroit Lions are among 7 teams interested in L'Jarius Sneed. And what potentially you would have to give up to get him, maybe a 2nd-round pick. But is he worth it? I think he would be worth it. And generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of getting rid of draft picks, but it's so difficult to get a good corner when they're younger. And we're a team that it's a win-now situation. So I wouldn't be opposed to it because you immediately be the best cornerback on this football team, and we're trying to win now. What if you got, again, a Sneed and a pass rusher in free agency like a Hunter or somebody else, a Greenard? We're talking about a really good football team, folks. And so I'm excited to hear this news and find out what's going to happen on Monday. Folks, it's going to be cray-cray. Free agency tampering periods on Monday. It's already this quick. Then guess what? We're off to the NFL draft. And the season is just going quick. Or the offseason is going real quick. Real quick. It's March 7 already. So it's crazy. August, you'll have preseason games. So we're getting close. And we got to build this team the right way. We got to get our defense better. We got to improve this defense. And Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they hear you. They understand. And they're going to get better. They're going to get better. They're going to get help at edge. They're going to get help at corner. Best believe they understand what's wrong with this football team. So super excited for free agency. That's why you want to hit that notification bell. We're going to be dropping videos a lot. I will be live on 96.1 in West Michigan on the radio from 3 to 6, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday for free agency. Jeff Risden will be there on Wednesday and Thursday for free agency. So you got it covered, too, if you want to listen to the radio live. The Huge Show. You don't have to be in West Michigan. You literally can search The Huge Show, and it'll be a live button right there. So you guys can hear what happens literally while it happens, because we'll be live. So if something happens, you're going to get it immediately. We'll be live on the radio and getting it done. And then as soon as I get home or before I go, I'll make videos. And when I get back, I'll make videos. And it may not be the greatest videos. I may be doing it off my cell phone, just depending where it's at. But we will definitely get to it for you guys. So hit that notification bell. You want to do it. Follow me on Twitter, MicroMike85. Follow Lions Nation Unite on Twitter, because we're dropping the information left and right, and the latest Lions news and the latest Lions rumors for you guys. And this is a good one on Friday. This is a great way to go into the weekend. So with that said, folks, adios.